And up next, we have Web of Worlds Reality Benders Book Number 4, a LitRPG series written by Michael Antonoff. It is 453 pages, $6.99. It is not available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. Ceasefires have one big downside. They eventually come to an end. And when they do, once again, game nodes are set ablaze and platoons of dark faction soldiers threaten our customary world with destruction. The enemy is growing stronger and more numerous. To make matters worse, they also got their hands on even deadlier weaponry. They have learned painful lessons from previous encounters and adjusted their tactics accordingly. What's more, the vast hordes of enemies are led by the greatest strategist of modern times, and his mage advisors can see all possible futures, so they will always know just what to do. How can our world possibly stand up against such an enemy? Oh, our only hope is the bravery and tenacity of our best fighters, those who'd rather die than surrender. Well, that and a starship captained by one lone mage. So that's kind of a little bit of a snarky description of the novel, and that definitely reflects the author's writing style, personality in the story of the main character. This is again the fourth book in the series. You're either on board with it by now. Most of these reviews at this point are like, oh, did this series tank for some reason? And the answer is no. The story continues to be a good book in the series. It has the good spacefaring action adventure that you've come to enjoy from the last couple of books. The plot moves forward on the war with the Dark Faction with some actual resolutions there to some degree, some interesting twists, including some interesting real-world effects of the war, I guess you could say. I won't want to spoil anything for you guys. I read the story. I enjoyed it. I always really enjoyed this series just because it's one of the rare continuing sci-fi lit RPG stories in existence. Like there's a lot of fantasy stories that are LitRPG. There are much fewer sci-fi stories, and there are much even fewer continuing sci-fi LitRPGs. Like there's a lot of book one entries, but this is one of the, for me at least, the one that continued on being progressively good and interesting and keeping interesting characters and RPG progression and all that good stuff. So I've always really enjoyed it. This one gets a score of 7.6 out of 10 for me. That's Web of Worlds Reality Benders book number 4 with a score of 7.6 out of 10.